Good morning, Dr. Sandra. Good morning, Dr. Larry.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jenny.
We're here together again with a real interesting nugget about mental health and energy healing and personal growth and self-cultivation from the point of view of, there are just more and more resources, especially and probably as a result of so much of help being given online and so many people stepping into the coaching world and guidance and support. There are many, many ways that, we can turn when we hear like our heart's call to take a leap, to make a change, or maybe to really fix something that has been needing to be addressed for a long time. So how do we see ourselves making those choices? And and Dr. Sandra and Dr. Larry, I'm really interested in knowing, how do you help people find the right way, forward, find the right person to work with?
Yeah, that's great. I'm going to jump in here and just say something that I think, that maybe is taken for granted. And that is when somebody decides they want to speak with somebody else to get guidance about something in their life, that's a monumental decision. It's such a profoundly important choice that somebody makes. So because we know lots of people never do that. And that's fine. Sometimes that's good enough. They can find what they need. But often, we find ourselves in some quandary and we're really stuck. And we know people are stuck in the medical world with medical issues that really confound them and seem so big and confusing and scary. But it's also true in the personal realm. And with what's happening in our own life, how we're moving in our life direction, how we feel about, do we even believe that we have a purpose to fulfill? And if we do, where are we with that? Because sometimes we notice that we're very out of sorts because we're far away from that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I start when somebody comes in to see me for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I have this deep appreciation and understanding, really, of what a big step it is to even speak to somebody, outside their immediate circle, but they don't know, like me. Where are you on this, Sandra?
Yeah, and I share that with you, Larry, that when somebody takes that step to say, I need to talk to someone, they've already made a really big step. And what resonated as you were talking too, the other thing that really pinged me was the whole idea that we have a purpose. And whenever anybody's coming to me for anything, my deepest belief is that there's a part of them that's wanting to expand. There's a part of them that's wanting to heal. And that part wants to do that so that they can be more of who they are in the world, right? It's like your purpose is this infinite part of you. It's infinite. There's no telling what this person can do. So
Right.
I'm really moved by the magic of this person having something that's really theirs to do and can show up in many ways. And now they're here at this sort of impasse. And how do I help them begin to see what it is that they need to take that next step? So that coming in to me is like listening to a call on the surface level, which is pain usually, but on the deeper level, it's purpose. There's something else happening under here that will help you get closer to a greater expression of you. And that could be a simple thing as, I'm going to set boundaries for myself. Now I'm going to give myself set boundaries so I have more room to expand.
Yeah. Well, what you just said is so great. Like, people come and they're motivated to be relieved of some pain they have. They're looking for some other way to be free of the pain. And then I think what you said is like, yeah, we hear that and we want to help them. But, when we really know that we're engaged in some deep process, that they're going to get closer to their purpose.
Yeah.
So we sort of have a sense that the pain is a wake-up call to find your purpose.
Yeah.
Which is really profound. One of the things that I'd love to hear what you have to say about is because, we're both psychologists, which means that like we have a big sort of range of things we can offer people. And people don't always know when they're coming to see us. Like they might know like, oh, well, you have all these programs, they might have seen something online, or if they're seeing something about me, they might know that I'm, they're very active in Chinese medicine and so on, but they don't really know. Like, how do you go about guiding somebody to discover between you and this person, what's the best path?
Yeah. And, that requires, I think our training as psychologists also helps us to sort of know that where a more deep healing, like where psychotherapy might be really what this person is in need of, because sometimes they're in so much pain that they just need someone to help them heal, work through the pain, understand the experience that they've had, and sort of then begin to think where it led them to, right? So I think our job with them is to start just hearing what it feels like they really need. If they're in intense pain and they really need that psychotherapeutic support, then that's, I think, the direction for them. And I would suggest that to them. If it's someone who's gotten into sort of a set of patterns, right? They've been to psychotherapy, they've healed, but they sort of keep finding themselves doing the same old thing they used to do, right? We can usually coach them through that. We can consult with them, we can provide them, right? Lots of tools and help them be aware of the resources within them that will allow them to shift those patterns that keep them getting stuck and draining themselves, or right in a pattern that has them emotionally sort of wrought and out of sorts.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's part of our work with them, is to help them see what it is their next best step, and to help them trust that. Does that feel like that answers your question?
Yeah, I think it's, I'm listening to you kind of like your client, feeling like if you did that, that'd be very helpful. And then I was also thinking, because we talked about this and touched on this at other times. When I think about like somebody who comes into me and to see me, and I think maybe what would be most helpful to them is doing therapy with me. What I sense is what they're going to benefit from is a certain kind of relationship. I'm hesitating because I don't know how to describe that. But relationship is everything in all the things we do.
Yeah.
But I think that when people come for therapy, often they're really at odds with themselves, and their own relationship with themselves is so disjointed and disconnected, and so they can benefit from having a relationship with someone else to help them begin to make sense of themselves, so that we provide that sort of environment where you can explore and find yourself again. But relationships are very important in the Chinese medicine healing work and in the coaching side too. It just means that I trust that this person is intact enough, is sort of ready to take some steps already, that I can guide them and say, here, go do this, and then we'll talk about what happens. And I'm still very engaged, but it's a different quality.
Yeah, I understand that, because I can get the sense that, like, as I'm thinking about this, as a person who has been to psychotherapy, right, and has had coaching.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, like, in that psychotherapeutic relationship, I wanted to feel absolutely safe with all of my broken parts, that what I perceived as my broken parts.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be like, let me be safe with these broken parts and be able to talk about them, have somebody feel like this isn't weird what's happening to me, that this is okay, that this is a part of me healing.
Beautiful.
So that holding of space as a psychotherapist, a space that makes people feel so safe that they can be in their broken part and heal their broken part is I think sort of what I feel as you talk about creating this relationship with them, the safety.
Beautiful.
That safety is there when we work with people coaching or doing Chinese medicine as well, but they're at a different place in what they need, right? They don't feel so broken and like they need to have their broken parts held, so right, the space so that they don't shatter, essentially, right?
That's right.
So I do feel that there is a holding that happens in psychotherapy. And there's usually also, I would say, a sense for us that there's this process of getting them to feel enough wholeness that they can take the next step. because people, and when they enter psychotherapy, often feel very much like they're disconnected, like you said, with themselves. I don't even know who I am right now. I feel disconnected.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's so deep. And you know, the other thing is because you say like you have your own experience in therapy, and you know, we also have our experience in our Chinese medicine path. So that means we've also gone through certain things that as psychologists, we actually bring something different into the encounter than, say, other therapists, other practitioners who don't have the same experience with the changes that happen with an energetic practice like Qigong, what happens inside, what we've experienced inside. So actually bring that, for you, it's like both. You're bringing both things you're talking about, which is really profound.
Yeah.
One side is more invisible than the other.
Absolutely.
But it's really important for setting a framework, a ground for where healing happens, because it's already happening inside of you. So active. And
Right.
that can be true. I feel it's true with me. So people can hardly help but get swept into this really actually positive movement towards more integration, more wholeness, more connection to purpose. That's part of the Qigong Chinese medicine reality, right? That's sort of, so it wouldn't matter what we're doing in therapy,
right,
in a way, because this is a deep foundation that we offer, even if we never talk about it.
Exactly. I think last week I thought about that because I feel like there's something also about the kind of message, the messenger, right? The messenger who's carrying whatever practice, right?
Yeah.
And so that actually, that knowledge of that really does come from studying Chinese medicine, studying Qigong, and thinking about a practice that offers more than just a movement itself, more than just like, so therapy is more than a talking itself. There's an active other process going on here that we don't see and that we're able to acknowledge.
Right, right.
Wow.
Never
Wow.
know.
Well, that's a beautifully dense 10 minutes. And I hope you all are discovering something about how to see yourselves asking for help when you need it, right? Healing is individual and personal and unique, and it also can be exponentially more beneficial when you're working with the right person.
Yeah.
So we're lucky to have you guys who have so many resources and ways to pull things together and to be such a beautiful mirror for the people that you work with. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Sandra.
Jenny.
We will see you next week.
See you next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.